back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Absolutely. Always ready to dig in.
Cool, cool. So today, things are getting kind of serious. We're looking at how these allegations against, Neil Gaiman are impacting both comics and, like, the wider entertainment industry.
Yeah, it's pretty major stuff.
It is. And our main source is this article we found from the Dark Herald. It's called Dark Horse Has Cancelled Neil Gaiman.
Catchy title.
Right. And, like, the article gets into some serious consequences, canceled comics, productions that are just, like, stuck, and even some projects totally scrapped.
Yeah, and the ripple effect, it's hitting some big names, like even Netflix, Amazon, Disney.
It's like, wow, this goes way beyond just one author.
It really shows you how interconnected this whole industry is. Like, one thing happens and it just, boom, everywhere.
Okay, so first things first. Dark Horse Comics, they officially canceled Gaiman's Anansi Boys comic series. Straight up, because of sexual assault allegations.
Yeah, that's a big move. Like, they're not messing around. They're distancing themselves from all this.
Especially since, well, Gaiman, he's denied everything, right?
Yeah.
Like on his blog, he's saying it's not true.
Yeah, so it's like he said, she said, and meanwhile, Dark Horse is like, nope, we're out.
And it's not just comics either. Netflix. They're in a tough spot with Sandman Season 2. Filmed already, but the article's saying they're, like, struggling with the release.
Oh, really? Like, how to put it out there?
Yeah, they even used the term Batgirl, which, like, made me think of that DC movie. Totally shelved, right? Even though it was done.
I remember that. Big mess.
Right. So it sounds like Netflix is caught, on one hand, advertiser commitments, and on the other.
Yeah, fans, the public, their own reputation. Tricky.
Then there's Amazon and Good Omens. They're like, okay, final season by UT crammed into one 90-minute episode.
Whoa, really? That's different.
And they're claiming Gaiman's not involved at all.
Yeah.
Which, damage control. Trying to separate the show from him.
It does kind of seem that way.
But, like, honestly, can they do the story justice in just 90 minutes? It just seems...
Yeah, rushed. Like, what about the fans who are expecting, a whole season?
Exactly. And will it even be a good ending? Or just, like, chopped up? Makes you wonder.
Big time. And it makes you think about the writers, too, right? Like, that's got to be a nightmare, trying to squeeze everything in.
Oh, totally. Okay, but then on the completely opposite end, there's Disney.
Oh, yeah. What are they doing?
The Graveyard Book adaptation. Gone. Completely scrapped. Zero tolerance, it seems.
Wow. Disney, huh? Like, they usually see things through, right?
Right. That's what's so surprising. It's a huge decision. It makes you think, what's going on behind the scenes? Like, what factors are really driving all this? Is it just the allegations, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I mean, Disney, they're all about that family-friendly image, right?
Exactly. So any controversy, it's a big deal for them. Maybe they're just trying to protect their brand, keep it squeaky clean.
Makes sense. Damage control, basically. But yeah, like you said, it's a huge she statement.
It is. So we've got this range of responses, right? It's almost like each company's playing a different game with different rules.
Yeah, it really highlights the variety, I guess, in how the industry operates, like different priorities, different approaches. Netflix is trying to find that middle ground. Amazon's going for damage control. And Disney is like, nope, hard line, we're done.
And it's interesting because the article also has these reader comments, and they bring up some good points.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one person, they pointed out how inconsistent all this is.
Yeah.
Like, there are shows with actors who've had similar accusations, but they're still on TV.
Huh. Yeah. Like, what about those cases?
Right. I Spy, The Cosby Show, they mention those. So it's like, why are some projects canceled while others just, keep going?
It's a good question, yeah. Like, is there a standard? Are some people held to a different level? And it brings up that whole thing about separating the art from the artist, which, not easy.
Totally. And another comment that stuck with me was about the crews, the artists, all the people working on these projects. Like, their jobs are affected, their lives are disrupted, even though they didn't do anything.
Oh, for sure. That's the collateral damage, right? All these people who just, showed up to work, did their jobs, and now they're caught in this mess.
Yeah, their work is basically gone, just like that. And it's through no fault of their own. It's a tough situation all around.
Definitely. No easy answers here.
It's tough, right? Like, everyone's caught in this web, and there's no easy way out.
Yeah, it really highlights, I guess, the whole, like, what happens when accusations hit, the consequences, they go everywhere. And it brings up that bigger question, right? Like, how should the industry, how should anyone handle this kind of stuff going forward?
Right, because, like, this isn't, the first time, and it's not going to be the last either. So, like, what are we even supposed to do? These companies are kind of setting the rules, whether they mean to or not.
Yeah, and I think this whole Gaiman thing, it's forcing people to like rethink things, like how to protect reputations, but also be fair, right? Because Gaiman, he's saying he's innocent, but these companies are making moves that could like really mess up his career. So it's this weird balance between like responding to serious stuff, but also, due process, innocent until proven guilty, all that.
It's true. It's almost like we're, I don't know, making it up as we go along. And the
Yeah.
decisions they make now, it's like it affects everyone, not just Gaiman.
Right. Think about other creators, artists. Are they going to be under a microscope even more now? Well, companies just like drop them at the first sign of trouble. It could create this whole like atmosphere of fear. Like you
Yeah.
can't be creative if you're always worried about like your reputation getting trashed.
And what about the fans? Like people who love Gaiman's work, how do they deal with this?
Mm.
Enjoying the stories, but then this serious stuff hanging over it all. It's got to be like a tough question to ask yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we get attached to the people who make the things we love,
Yeah.
right? And then when something like this comes out, it's like, wait, can I still enjoy this? Do I have to separate the art from the artist? And there's no easy answer. Everyone's going to handle it differently.
I guess one thing that feels like kind of hopeful is that people are talking about it. You
Yeah.
know, like those comments in the article, it shows that people are paying attention and they're not afraid to like call out what seems messed up.
Right. That open discussion, it's crucial. Because then you get different viewpoints, you can question your own ideas, and maybe, just maybe, we start to understand this stuff a little better.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Okay, so we've talked about the accusations, the projects getting canceled, the impact on, well, everyone. But it's also like the way each company is handling it. That's kind of fascinating, right?
Totally, like different strategies almost.
Yeah, like Netflix, they're stuck with Sandman,
Yeah.
right? They've got this whole season done, but they can't figure out how to release it without like making things worse.
I get it. They spent a ton of money on it, but yeah, just putting it out there like nothing happened, that's not going to fly.
Right. So they're trying to find that middle ground, I guess. Minimize damage, but still, get something out of what they already filmed.
It's a tough spot, no doubt.
Then you've got Amazon just chopping Good Omens down to like a TV movie, basically.
Yes.
It's practical, but it feels like a compromise.
Yeah.
Like, are they sacrificing the story just to be done with it? Get away from Gaiman.
That's the question, isn't it? Like, where does artistic vision end and, I don't know, damage control begin? And it really shows how these situations force tough choices on everyone, really.
And then there's Disney, just straight up saying, nope, to the graveyard book. No messing around there. They're putting their image first, no matter what.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, we're family friendly, end of story. Even if it means losing money, losing a project, that image is everything. And it shows you how different companies see risk, right? Disney's audience, their whole brand, it's different from Netflix, so they react differently.
Makes sense. So we've got this whole spectrum from trying to salvage things to just like cutting it off completely. What does this even mean for the future, for the industry as a whole? Is this like a turning point or?
It's hard to say for sure, but this Gaiman thing, it's going to have lasting effects, I think. Like the industry, maybe even society, we're all having to deal with these questions of like accountability, fairness, and that whole separating art from the artist thing.
It's true. And it makes you wonder if there's a better way, a way to be sensitive to the accusations, but also fair to everyone involved. Can we support victims A&D, have due process A&D, protect creativity all at the same time?
Those are the big questions, right? And to even start answering them, we need to talk honestly and openly. We need to look at our own biases and like be willing to have those tough conversations. This isn't just about Hollywood or comics. It's about how we treat each other, how we deal with these situations as people.
Yeah, this whole deep dive, it's made me think about the stuff I watch, the stuff I read in a different way.
Yeah.
It's like there's this whole other layer now, and it's more questions than answers, honestly.
I get that. And it's good. It means you're thinking critically, you're seeing the bigger picture. It's easy to just be entertained, but we got to remember there are real people behind all this, real lives affected.
So we've covered a lot. Clearly, this story is not over yet. What do you think, like, what happens next? What's the next chapter in all this?
Well, first, the legal stuff that's going to play out. And these companies, they'll have to make more decisions about current projects, future ones. Maybe we'll see changes in the industry, like new rules for how to handle this kind of thing, more transparency maybe, or who knows, it could go the other way, and companies get even more careful, more afraid to take risks.
That makes me think about, like, the artists themselves. It's already hard enough to, make it in this business, and now there's this whole other thing to worry about.
Exactly. How do they protect themselves? How do they keep making art when, like, the stakes are so high? And how do we, as the audience, react? Do our viewing habits change? Do we even, like, care about this stuff? It's all up in the air.
Feels like we're at this crossroads.
Yeah.
The industry, the people who watch and read, we're all being asked to, like, really think about what matters.
It's a big moment, yeah. And the choices made now, they'll echo for a while. It's like the entertainment industry, it's supposed to be all fun and games, but it reflects us, you know? The problems they're facing, there are problems too, in a way.
It really is a lot to think about. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I kind of want to, like, back to you, the listener, all this, the allegations, the canceled stuff, these companies scrambling. What do you make of it all?
It's interesting, right? Because there isn't one right answer, is there? Each company, they're going about this based on, like, their own thing, what they think is right, their brand, their values, how much risk they're willing to take. It's all different.
And that's what's so crazy about it, right? Like, you got Netflix, they're trying to figure out how to release Sandman without, like, a total meltdown. Then Amazon, they're trying to save Good Omens, but cramming it all into one episode. That's got to be rough on the writers. And then Disney's just like, nope, we're out. It's wild.
It is. So, like, what do you think is the right move? Is it about making a statement, even if it costs you money, or is it more about finding that middle ground, that compromise where everyone kind of gets something, but maybe not everything?
It's a tough question, right? Because you're weighing so much. How serious are the allegations? What about the people working on these projects, their careers? And then what message are you sending to the audience, to the fans? It's a lot.
And don't forget the practical side, too. Like, Netflix, they already filmed Sandman Season 2. Throwing that away, that's millions of dollars down the drain. But releasing it like nothing happened, that's not cool either.
Exactly. This whole thing shows you just how complicated it all is. There's no easy solution. And whatever you choose, somebody's going to be unhappy.
Which is why it's so important to have these conversations, right? Talk about different sides, the ethical stuff, and hopefully we can figure out a way forward that's, I don't know, both fair and irresponsible. Not an easy task.
Nope, not at all. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. Given everything we've talked about, how should the entertainment industry handle this kind of stuff in the future? What do you want to see companies do? And what about us, the viewers, the readers? Can we help create an industry that's more, I don't know, thoughtful, more accountable?
Keep thinking about those questions, especially as you watch movies, read comics, all that, because your voice matters. What you choose to support matters. How we all react, that's what shapes the future of these stories, the whole industry, really.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Hopefully it's given you some things to think about, maybe made you look at the stuff you enjoy a little differently. And that's never a bad thing, right?
Yeah.